questions you have. So if you are on here and you have questions, I absolutely want to be able to answer your questions and serve you to the best capacity while I'm here. Um, I'll tell you what, South Africa is off to the races. I mean, there are so many people doing such extraordinary things in South Africa right now. People want our technology. People want to feel better. People are seeking solutions, right? And those are the people that we're looking for, those that are seeking solutions, seeking alternative ways to get healthy, seeking a plan B or maybe even a plan A with their finances, right? There's a lot of shifting happen in the marketplace, in the world. This morning, I went to the grocery store and all of a sudden I saw this robot coming down the grocery store aisle. Like it was a robot coming at me. I have never seen this before yet. This was the first time for me this morning. And it was making this weird sound and it said, counting whatever it was counting. So it would beep, 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 and it turned and it said counting whatever, pop, whatever Pepsi or whatever it was counting. I don't even know, but counting, it was counting. And I thought, uh-oh, there went another job, right? They're being eliminated by robots, literally robots. It was going up and down the grocery store aisles, apparently doing some type of count for their products, right? Inventory. And so I thought, wow, is this interesting? Have you guys seen that in your country yet? Now, coming to a country near you, right? This is the world we live in. So I think that there's going to be many, many more jobs eliminated. In fact, I've kind of been on a run with LifeWave. We've been through all, like in the last 7 days, went from North Dakota over to Minneapolis, Minnesota area, down south, flew down to Kansas City, Kansas, did 3 meetings down there, drove over to Wichita, Kansas, about 2.5 hours away, big meeting there, got in the car, drove over to near Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, did a large meeting there, got in the car, drove down to Frisco, Texas, which is near Dallas, and did a large meeting there. So we had kind of a 7-day run of meetings, literally from the top of the country down to the bottom of the country. And I tell you what, the miracles are relentless here. I told Scott I kind of started as a fireball in Minnesota and I ended up a firestorm in Texas because what happened every meeting, the testimonies, the stories, the miracles are just undeniable. And like Scott always says, you can't unhear what you're hearing. You can't unsee what you're seeing. It's impossible, right? And so what's happening is on this journey, we're hearing 16-year-old kids that are being delivered of their seizures and their blackouts. I mean, this beautiful young gal. In fact, I think I'm going to have her on the Thursday night meeting. So you will all have access to the story as well, because I'll post the recording on Friday in your WhatsApp group. But young 16-year-old literally just started blacking out. She was a cheerleader, a power lifter. So they took away her driver's license. She had to stop cheering. She had to stop doing everything that she was doing. And really, when you look at that, I mean, they had a family of seven children these parents had. So it's not like it's an easy walk in the park for this family already financially, right? And now all of a sudden they had all of these financial big bills. Like one of the tests a young girl was supposed to have was going to be $100,000. $100,000. And so they were all just kind of, in disbelief that this was happening to her. I mean, if you saw her, and you will see her on the Thursday night meeting, I mean, she's 16, just a beautiful young girl. And all of a sudden, they were dealing with this very trying time. And a friend of hers said, why haven't you tried these patches yet? Like, what are you waiting for? Because before the sequence of events was happening with the daughter, somebody was talking to her mother about the patches and she was like a no-go, right? Because there's 7 kids and money's tight. And after this started happening, they definitely said, you know what, we're definitely going to have, we're going to do these patches. And it's now been, I think, 3.5 months and this young girl is completely blackout, seizure free. Not one episode since she put the patch on, not a single episode. And these things were happening quite frequently before the patch. So now the young girl has her driver's license back. She's back to cheerleading again. She's back to powerlifting, you guys. I mean, I was like in tears hearing this story because you could just hear the fear in the mother's voice when she just realized that they had this kind of crisis with their family's health, right? Anyway, so that's going to be on Thursday. So that was just one of many stories that we heard on the journey. A young girl with cystic fibrosis that was diagnosed like at 7 months old. Now a teenager, like literally since she's been on the patches, not a single breathing treatment, you guys, not one. So for lung stuff. So what happened to me is every place I went, I had not heard these stories. So if you want to get fired up and increase your own personal belief, you got to get around the fire. Would you guys agree? When you get around people that are experiencing life-changing miracles, your belief goes up. So if you say, gosh, I don't really believe, my question is how many meetings have you been on? You know what I mean? How many, testimonies are you engaged in that WhatsApp group to hear all the incredible things that are happening in people's lives and in their health? So like I said, I started as a fireball. I turned into a firestorm by the time I hit Texas, just because my motivation, my inspiration, my belief, and I have huge belief already. My belief had grown to like a mega size, right? Just after hearing all these incredible family stories, because I just believe in generations of health and generations of wealth. So here the mom is sitting there talking about her 16-year-old daughter. She's talking about her own health. You've got grandparents on the patches, right? You've got grandchildren on the patches. So we're really helping people empower themselves. And last night on the Zoom meeting I did, but if you haven't watched it, it was really, really amazing. I said, we have to move from convincing to empowerment, right? Would you guys agree with that? Convincing to empowerment. And what that means is if you're walking around kind of chasing people, trying to convince them to do this patch, it gets a little exhausting. How many of you would agree? It gets a little exhausting when you're always trying to convince and nag and beg. And it's kind of like the business opportunity. I don't do much convincing with the business opportunity either. But here's the thing. I mean, I give people the resources and the tools, but eventually they're going to have to pick it up and carry it, right? Because it's their business. They're an entrepreneur and I'm not their boss, right? I know sometimes I look like a boss lady, but I'm not their boss. So the bottom line is we want people to feel empowered, right? So let's move our state from convincing, which I feel like is, have any of you ever read the book Power versus Force? Power versus Force. Incredible book. Yeah. Alondra, you've read it. You want to unmute yourself so we can talk about it for a second? Because I feel like that book is so powerful.
Yes,
And
100%.
give a little takeaway of what that book is about in a nutshell.
Yeah. Well, I have to tell you, at first, I had to read that book 3 times because we did it as part of a EMF group. And like my head couldn't wrap around it. But when you reach that state of surrender, then that power just overtakes the force, that inner power. It's
Wow. Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love it. That inner power. And we all have that. We all
Yeah.
have that inner power. So what I've said is we're going to move people away from that convincing to empowerment, right? And that's that inner power that we all have. Empower, right? It's empowered. We're empowered. And so I always think the words power versus force. If I have to force someone to do something, eventually they're probably going to quit. Would you guys agree? Nobody likes to be forced
Yeah.
into anything, right? Try to convince somebody to quit smoking. Good luck with that one, right? So that's forcing, right? Whereas if they're empowered and they have enough information and inspiration and education to be able to make an educated decision, they're empowered. They're moving forward in power, right? Instead of being forced. And so I really feel like if you're not feeling empowered to do this business, if you're not feeling empowered to wear this patch, well, it's probably not going to last very long, right? If it's like one of those convincing things where your friend talks you into it, right? And now you feel like it's drudgery or you feel like, oh, I have to do it, right? I wake up every day with this anticipation in my spirit, like I get to do this. I get to go talk to people. I was at the gym this morning doing a maha because, I'm on, are you guys doing my workouts with me, by the way? When you work out more, do you guys know that you become more electric? Literally, you are an electron giver. So the more working out you do, it's more active energy, right? It kind of comes off of you. And people are attracted to that energy. Think about somebody who's just sitting around depressed on the couch all the time. Their electrons are very slow, very sluggish. But as soon as you kind of spin that, get that going with that I always think of the water in your body starts stirring, right? Because you're moving more, you're getting electrolytes, you're getting hydrated, right? We're putting the patch on. That phototherapy is bringing in that GHK copper peptide, which is activating a whole sequence of incredible healing events in our body that we can't see. But what happens is when you do that, when you start having more motion in your body, you become kind of an electron giver. And so this morning I was at the gym doing my Maha 100, which are just phenomenal, 100 free workouts. I decided I'm not going to stop at 100. I'm going to Maha 1000. So if you're getting sick of me, I mean, it's just going to be a whole nother level now. Because I'm like, 100 is so easy. I can do this for 1,000 times. And so anyway, the bottom line is, and it's just like the more I'm working out, the more magnetic I'm becoming. So I'm at the gym, just walking through the gym, putting my weights away. All of a sudden I hear Renita. Here it's an old friend of mine from a long time ago. I like haven't seen the guy since I've been 20 probably. Okay. We're talking nearly, 28 years ago. And he said, "Hey, Renita, hey, what are you doing with this patch thing? I see you do it on Facebook." And I said, "Oh my gosh, you need the patch, Seth." I said, "It's going to change your life." I said, "You got to be close to 50." He's like, "Oh yeah." I said, "Yeah, 50, you have like a 75% reduction of stem cell activity." And I said, "So that means you're just aging faster." And he goes, "You can say that again, my shoulder, my hip," like he was pointing into these things, right? And then of course I said, "You know what? All that's going to change when you put a patch on." He said, I've been watching on TikTok and it just got me thinking, they're always watching you. He's never commented on a thing I've posted. Not a single comment, you guys. Not a like, not a care, a heart, nothing. Nothing. And here it is. We've been in this business, what? 2 years and 9 months. Run into him at the gym and he's like, "I've been watching." They're always watching, those little cuties, aren't they? They're watching from afar. So people are waiting to see if you're going to quit. They're waiting to see what's going to happen in your life. But when you stay the course and it just gets bigger and better and bigger and better, they can't stop but ask. They have to ask you. They have to ask you when they see you at the gym then, right? They're like, "What are you doing? What is this? Tell me." So he's already texted me back. He's like, I'm in. I'm in with everything you're saying to me. He said, "I want everything you just mentioned." And so I said, "Hey, when you're ready to get your wholesale pack ordered, give me a holler and I'll help you get the right patches." He said, "Okay, I'll do it." And so the bottom line, I mean, that was just a gym experience, right? This morning, that happened this morning to me. And so my point is everywhere we go, everyone is looking. Now, some of them are watching from afar and they're not saying it. But here's what I've realized: when people's businesses get a little stale, should I tell you what I've realized has happened? People have quit going out and meeting new people, right? Would you guys agree? When you're just with those same people over and over and over, I mean, who are you talking to? Well, like I just said to my Kansas City team, they all go to the same chiropractor. They all go to the same massage therapist. They're all in the matrix together right there, right? So now they're competing with one another for the same people. And I said to my friend, who's the team leader, who's nearly an SPD out there, I said, "If I were you, adios to your friend who's a chiropractor who's in the business rocking it and saying, 'I love you, but I got to go recruit.'" And I would be out of there. And I said, I would go to a chiropractor an hour away. Like I would get in the car and drive an hour to go to the chiropractor. Why? Fresh faces, right? Fresh energy, people I don't know. You're not worried about stepping on people's toes because they all know one another. And she goes, "You know what? I haven't done that for about a year and a half." I said, "When your business grew the most, it was a constant influx of you meeting new people. When you are not meeting new people, you guys, you're just dealing with the same, you know, people over and over and over. What's happening? Nothing. This is why Oliver is up regulating and growing his business right now, because he's like seeing new people at these tennis tournaments all the time. Different people everywhere you go. That's the secret to network marketing, right? It's not just dealing with the same 6 people over and over and over and wondering why nothing's changing, right? You've got to change it. You've got the power. You've got to go get some fresh energy. Okay. And so my friend Sherry said, "Okay, you're right. I'm gonna text him right now and tell him I love you. I love your chiropractic adjustments, but I gotta go." And I said, "Do the same thing with your hairdresser." So the hairdresser was in the car with us driving to Wichita. She looked across the seat and she said, "Okay, Jody, I'm done getting my hair done by you." I said, "Sorry, Jody." And she said, "I'm done getting my hair done by you, but I'm going to go find a different hairdresser." And I said, "Not because she doesn't love what you're doing with her hair, Jody, but because we all know this, that hairdressers are incredible, incredible networkers just because they're they're underpaid counselors is what they are, right? With clipping the hair. Sometimes people tell them things they don't want to hear, right? But they all know a lot about their clients, and their clients really trust the hairdressers, right? So I said to Sherry, I said, you got to get out of the same hairdresser. She's in the business. She's taking it to the top with or without you. She won the free trip to Punta Mita. We had about 100 people win the free trip to Punta Mita over here. And then and I said, you got to get to a different location. She said, I'm doing it. So I don't know if you guys are able to do that, but if you are, I'd get out of that same circle that you're running within your city, and I would drive elsewhere. I would take it a little further away. I would go somewhere else, right, guys? Just for a while to grow and expand your team. Okay. Are you doing that is my question. Are all of you doing that? Are you getting in the vehicle and going to a different group? Are you joining a different Bible study? Are you joining a different, chess club? Are you joining a different pickleball team? Like, are you going and doing different things to meet different people? Because this is the recruitment business where we have to help people get well, and we can help those same 8 people over and over, but eventually your business is going to become a little stale. I love that constant stream of fresh water coming in. Do you guys? Reminds me of a waterfall, just a constant, and you should visualize that, a constant stream of fresh new contacts coming in and people coming into your business that you can inspire and motivate. So, hey, Dimitri, welcome to the party. How are you? All right. So I want to get to a little teaching and training so you guys know all the resources and the tools. You all know this is it info. This is it team. Are we all using those? By the way, this is it info. This is it team. So there's so many great videos that you can pull from. You guys know I have the 11-minute video, the 12-minute video, and the 21-minute video. Are you aware of those 3 videos? Everybody know those videos? And if not, unmute yourself. Let's have a conversation about it. So those 3 videos are just a kind of a first look for people. So if you don't want to send them a corporate video, or if you don't want to send them like this is it info, which is sometimes for some people, I'll be honest, this is it info. They don't know where to click because there's so many videos, right? So you really have to narrow it down when you send that. And I generally just send like one video off of there. Okay. Because once people have watched that video, they're like, oh, there's more. So if they want to look at more, they can find that. Whereas if you just send this is it info, they might get there and be like a deer in headlights, right? Better than that, I love to send my 11-minute video. Now, Alondra, Dimitri, Oliver, I'm not sure if you guys have done an 11-minute video or a 10 to 15-minute video where you summarize, you just basically Zoom record yourself, flipping the chart, showing a couple before and afters, going through the presentation as quickly and as promptly as possible. So if you haven't done that, you could do that. Sometimes it's good to edify a third party. Would you guys agree? If you're talking to your friends, sometimes it's better to send from another person, like an Oliver, like a Fred, like an Alondra, like a Dimitri, like a Renita, like somebody else, right? So just know that you don't have to record the video and do it yourself. You can use my video. It's 11 minutes, 12 minutes, 21 minutes. So the 11-minute video is only X39. The 12-minute video is X39 in all of the other patches. And then, of course, the 21-minute video is how to purchase at a wholesale price. So you got your core, your advanced, your premium packages, and then you have the 6 ways of earning attached to that. So that's a 21-minute video. Okay. So again, you can use my videos and say, hey, this is my business partner. I'd love for you to check this out. I want to talk to you right when you're done watching it. After you're done watching it, you call them maybe 15 minutes later, say, hey, do you have time right now to check this out? You send them the 11-minute video, they watch it. You call them and you say, okay, did you have a chance to watch it? Yeah, I just watched. Wow, it's incredible. Which part of the video did you like the most? Right? And then zip your mouth. And then let them tell you which part of the video they like the most. Oh, I really like the part of the healing. I really like the part of, it's natural. I really like the part of we're activating our own, regenerative stem cells with light, right? They'll let you know what they like the most. But by you asking that question, they've watched the video, right? Are you guys with me on this? So that 11-minute video is a great thing to start with. I'm actually going to film a new one on Wednesday night where I do all of it, the health and the wealth, and I'm going to try to get it done in under 15 minutes. And I'm going to try to be when you're listening to it, I want to make sure that I'm slow enough and deliberate enough that you can understand everything. But I'd like to have all of it in one package. So my goal is 15. It might be closer to 15 to 20, but and that way when you send it to them, they also have a bird's eye view of the opportunity. And then they might say, wow, I love the idea of regenerating and getting younger, but I also love the idea of an additional financial opportunity, right? So when you talk to them, they might bring in that part of it. And so right now, when you guys are meeting your new contacts, again, fresh faces is where it needs to be. Let's talk just for a second how you guys are going out and getting fresh contacts, because you're not going to build this business sitting at home behind a computer looking at your back office. It's just not going to happen. It's fresh eyes on the videos, fresh eyes on you, fresh eyes. Like this morning on the gym, I never saw that guy at the gym. Haven't seen him in 28 years. Happened to run into this morning at the gym. He's like, I've been watching you on TikTok, right? So I had to get out of the house to do that. If I thought about staying home and working out, but if I would have stayed home and worked out, I wouldn't have ran into him. So I went to the gym. I always go places where there's new people. And here's what else I do. I go to the gym at different times. Because how many of you know people are creatures of habit? So the 6 o'clock a.m. crew is always the 6 a.m. crew. How many of you know that? The 8 a.m. crew is always the 8 a.m. crew, right? So by going to these places at different times, you're going to run into different people. And I'm going to tell you, it's kind of interrupting the pattern, right? We're always interrupting the pattern, interrupt the pattern. It's kind of the power of the subconscious mind. Our subconscious is always on auto repeat, and we're trying to interrupt that pattern to create new patterns that are creating us great health and great wealth. Right, guys? All right. So can you guys unmute yourself and just tell me for a second what you're doing to meet new people? Anybody? Go ahead.
Well, I just did my first trip to Johannesburg recently.
Yeah,
There was a friends event going on. So I thought, well, let me go. Let me go and try and introduce some new people. I'm
right.
still working on some of those relationships. I did sign one person up. I
Great.
expected to do a lot more than that. But yeah, and so I do try to go to new restaurants, change up my routine a little bit. And I'll just keep at it. I just joined a new women's walking group. Um,
Wow. I love
so
that.
they meet randomly, not every day. And I suppose there's different people. So I just keep, trying to get out there because I am stuck at my desk during certain times. But it's no excuse not to get out. So yeah,
Yeah,
I just keep
I
trying
love
to
that.
meet people.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's your goal is to say, hey, what can I do different this week? What can I do different this week to meet different people? Right. Like you have to kind of start asking yourself that question if you're kind of stuck in a rut of doing the same thing, going to work, stopping at the same grocery store on the way home, coming home, coming home at the same time. You've got to interrupt that pattern to create new contacts. All right. What else? Dimitri,
Um,
what are you
Re-
doing? Oh, go ahead.
Renita, I was just gonna say, I noticed like for me, because I've been an artist for the last sort of 2 years, my circle used to be a lot more business people. So I'm going back to, associating myself with more business people because those are the people, as you know, that will see the financial opportunity, not just look at the product and be like, oh, the product's expensive. And I find that's been like the biggest challenge the team's had is the mindset around the price of the products. But if you think about it as a business person, even in South Africa, like that is so cheap to run a
Right.
business for that amount of money. So it's all about the mindset of the people that you're mixing with.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's what I realized. I sort of like stopped mixing with the people that have that mindset that are looking, what does this make me, not what is this going to cost me? So ask yourself like where you can go find people, business networking events, personal development seminars, even hotel lobbies. That's where I started building my first business because I thought to myself, I don't even need to go overseas. If I just go wear a nice suit and have lunch at the Palazzo in Joburg, I can meet 5 people from 5 different countries in one afternoon. And that's what I did.
I love that, Oliver. You sound like me. That's what I do. I go to these places and I tell Scott, I don't want to stay at a VRBO. I want to stay at a nice hotel, a very, very nice hotel. And if you can't afford that yet, then like you said, go have lunch at the restaurant, have a cup of coffee, meet people. I mean, it doesn't have to be a high ticket, high dollar thing if you're just getting started, right? It's just getting around the atmosphere of people that have a greater mindset about wealth. That's what we're trying to do. You know, I have a teammate in Minnesota. She said, maybe I've told you guys this before, but she said, unfortunately, I've trained my team to be ambulance chasers. And I didn't even know what that was. I said, what's an ambulance chaser? I don't even use that language, you know? And she said, we just look like for people that are about to die, like they're all dying, and we try to save them. And I'm like, oh, I said, you know, that's a tough demographic. Now, I believe in God. And so when God puts certain people in my path that are very ill, I feel like God wants me to help them. But I am not on the hunt for those people, right? I am not consciously, deliberately going out and seeking down the sickest of the sick, right? Because you're trying to then overcome a lifetime, 20, 30, 40 years of a belief system, right, guys? Maybe they've been sick for 17 years, right? And I'm not saying that we don't have miracles. I mean, I just told you I went on a run over top of the US to the bottom of the US, and it was a firestorm of miracles. You know what I mean? From top to bottom, it's all I heard. So of course we're looking for those that we can help and love and serve. But from a business standpoint, you want people like Oliver is talking with a little bit more elevated mindset. My son Bo just called me and he said, he's down in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. And he said, Mom, I met this guy. He's incredible. He's getting in on the patches with me. I met him at the gym in Cabo. He's got a following of 300,000 people. And that Bo said he's signing up. He wants the business. And so how did Bo do that? Well, he's in Cabo at this, you know, Four Seasons. Now, again, if you can't afford a Four Seasons, it's okay. Then you just go to the restaurant or the coffee shop in the Four Seasons, right? You could go in and get a glass of ice water in the Four Seasons and just be in the atmosphere of these people that are deliberately wanting more, right? It doesn't mean you have to go break the bank, okay? Now, for me, I'm looking for massive tax deductions. So where are we going, right? And then everywhere we go, it's like we meet these incredible people that have very expansive mindsets, right? So be careful with the ambulance chaser mindset. I now know what that is. And I don't suggest that, as a great way of building your business. Again, you know my heart. If someone comes to me that's in dire strait and to get well, I will help them to get well because God put them in my path. But I'm not outwardly looking for the sickest of the sick. Okay, guys? Oliver, I love that. I love what you're doing. I mean, you have to up level your life at a certain point. Okay? Certain frequencies run with certain frequencies. Would you guys agree? Sick people hang out with sick people. Wealthy people hang out with wealthy people. True story. Healthy people hang out with healthy people. There's that old saying, if you're hanging out with 5 healthy people, you're going to be the 6th, right? If you hang out with 5 wealthy people, you're going to be the 6th wealthy person in that group. So you got to kind of get around that energy that you're seeking. Okay. All right. I love that. Who else? What is everybody else doing to create new contacts? Because that's really what it comes down to, new energy. Go ahead, Linda. How you doing, beautiful Linda?
Hello. Yes, I'm in South Africa. Been a lot in the bush, but also a lot in safari lodge. Mm-hmm. So I think this is a really good place because you are invited, you have talks, you get a compliment, you tell them why, you look, have a good skin and things, and yeah. So, yeah, a lot has been happening in South Africa. Very, very promising.
It is
and
very
I
promising.
Also help a friend whose husband is depressed, and he put on Aeons, and from the first day he was calmer, better, sleeping better, and for the first time in 8 months watching cricket.
Wow.
So that was spectacular.
Amazing. Again, you can't deny the one patch miracles. We were in Texas for our last meeting, and there was 105 people in a living room. 105, body to body. I mean, the energy was hot, and people were hot too, right? Anyway, they actually put a buzz fan on me because I was like about to start dripping. I was so hot. But anyway, when I was in there, I said, hey, raise your hand if you're in the room and you are a one patch miracle or you know of a one patch miracle. And of the 105 people, there had to be at least 35 hands that went up. So the one patch miracles are real, you guys. They're happening, right? But we just don't, I don't always, you know how we follow the pro system with this is it team, patch, revisit, opportunity. Sometimes I don't always patch people. And you don't either. Do you know why? Because Alondra, if you're talking to somebody that's in a different part of South Africa or a different part of the world, you might not be able to put a patch on them, right? So instead of the word P for patch, I say P for the word presentation. Show them it. Show them that PowerPoint. Show them that presentation. Don't worry about as much as if you're going to get a patch on them right today. Excuse me. Because we know that if you patch them, they could be a one patch miracle, or it may do absolutely nothing. They may notice nothing, right? And then we don't want people saying, well, I tried it, it didn't work. When you're putting that patch on them, if you are patching them, I say, this is probably going to do nothing for you today. I mean, it might do something. We see that sometimes, but it's probably going to not do anything. But what I do know is as soon as we put this patch on, it's activating the stem cells in your body and they go to work regenerating. And I don't know what they're going to regenerate today, but they know what to regenerate today. So you may or may not feel that. My real goal is for you to understand how powerful this technology is to change your life. Are you ready to change your life? Are you ready to change your story? Right? And when they say, yeah, I say, great. I'm going to send you on over a little 11-minute presentation, what this patch can do for you and your family. Are you willing to watch that? Do you have 10 minutes right now where you can view that? And if they say yes, I'm like, perfect. Boom. I shoot it over, right? Let's chat after you watch this. Just give me a little fire emoji when you're done so I know you've watched it. Like I'm a personal trainer for 25 years, right? So I like accountability. If you're a coach in life, you like to hold people accountable. I'm not just like, yeah, watch it when you have time. Let me know. It's like, no, send me a fire emoji when you're done. I want to know you watched it. Okay. You're helping to hold them a little accountable because if they watch it, it's going to change their life and it's going to change your business. Right? You guys with me on that? Are you understanding that stream there? Linda, you sound like you're in the bush gathering with people, and my goodness gracious, girl, you look like you're in your 40s with that perfect skin. So of course they're asking what you're doing. I love that. They'd be crazy not to ask you what you're doing. You're such an energetic, light spirit and that great skin of yours. So of course, when you get around people, they want to be like you, right? We all want to be like Linda when we grow up.
Yes,
so
Renita, I saw her and I almost didn't recognize her because I met her last year and she was here again and I was like, oh my goodness, totally different.
Wow.
Totally
different. And just a countenance, right? The countenance is light and bright and happy and joyful, right? And so I love that. I love that. Keep it up, Linda. Okay. Can I pronounce the name Jolande? How do you say that?
Hi, Renita. No, it's Afrikaans pronunciation, so don't stress. It's Yolandi.
Okay, I love it. Okay. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing.
I've actually got so many facets in my business, and I've started cutting some of them so I can spend more time on LifeWave because it's working so well for me. So I'm in the process of finishing one of the commitments that I have and getting rid of it so that I can spend more time on LifeWave. So currently, I've not had the time to branch out. So I'm really happy that I'm on this call. And I'm only dealing with the people that's close to me at the moment. So I do a lot of retail because I am in the holistic health industry and also a personal trainer and also a sports coach. So I definitely will be branching out and meeting new people and kind of be able to have more free time to do that going forward. So I kind of grew my business from a retail side first because that was just the easiest for me to do. And now I've kind of started helping my own little team to my own few brand partners to kind of get going. So I believe so much in the product and LifeWave that I've closed down 2 legs of my business that I kind of felt is not allowing me the time that I need to spend on LifeWave. So I'm quite excited to go forward and spending a bit more energy and on that.
I love that. I love that. And you're in the perfect industry to be
Yes.
influencing them with this patch, right? I mean, because it doesn't it doesn't take away from anything you're currently doing. It adds to what you're currently doing, right?
Correct.
Because you know their results
Yes.
are going to be even more powerful. Did you see the gal on my team from Montana, you guys, that had some really rare autoimmune condition, and she was like on the high marker of that? Well, she's been wearing the patch consistently for 6 months, and now those markers are literally like normal. She has tried everything. She's in the holistic health world, this woman. So she's not like, you know, like LifeWave is the first thing she's tried. She's tried dozens of things over the course of the last 5 years because her mother died of ALS. And so she, of course, had some rare autoimmune thing, and those numbers were creeping up, and she's young, started wearing the patch, went back in for this certain blood marker. And not only was it down, it was like 2 or 3 levels down where it's not even considered that she has an autoimmune condition. She said, some doctors are going to tell me I don't even have an autoimmune condition anymore. Can you imagine? The only thing different this woman has done is the patch. So, I mean, we know this thing works. So from a health standpoint, if you are talking to people in the health world, like personal trainers, like coaches like yourself, they all will love this technology because it can only help their clients more efficiently, more effectively. And people that are personal trainers generally are not in it for the money. They're in it because of the love of helping people. I mean, that's why they do what they do.
About the money.
Yeah. It's not, we always say it's not about the money. Now, I will tell you, having money and being a personal trainer is much more fun than not having money and being a personal trainer. Okay.
Yeah.
Right? You have more options with the money and more choices, of course. But point being, though, we know that it's going to help this demographic that you're working with. So if you are dealing with a chiropractor, a massage therapist, a personal trainer, a nutrition coach, remember, our phototherapy technology is going to only enhance what they're doing. It's not competing with what they do. You know what I mean? So let them know that their clients, their patients are going to only heal more effectively. They're going to be the talk of the town, right? You know, sometimes I have chiropractors that say, well, if people get too well, they won't come back to me. No. That's a poverty mindset. An abundance mindset, when people get well, they're going to shout it from the rooftops to all their friends. Now their friends are coming to see me, right? That's more of an abundant thinker that you're looking for, right? Instead of thinking to yourself, they're better, so now they don't need me. No. Now they're excited and they're telling the world. Good news travels fast, okay? That's why South Africa is exploding. We have a South African team, another line of team that I have. We just had 4 managers bust in the last month. 4 managers. I mean, this is happening for real. So the bottom line is South Africa is on the move. And if we're still using the language that nobody wants to buy it because they're all broke and it's too expensive, you need to go start talking to some different people. Okay? Because that's just a repetition, a pattern that you could be saying to hold yourself back at this point. And we don't want anyone being held back. Okay, guys? So you need to say, you know what? I need to find people that are looking. They're out there. Other people are advancing in rank. Other people are having great success. These miracles are endless. I've got to get you around more people that are willing to grow, willing to change, willing, like Oliver said, to be investing in the financial opportunity and see it as a business, right? It's very, very exciting what's going on in South Africa. I mean, I'm on many Zoom meetings in a week, and I hear lots of incredible stories. You know, a lot of the South Africans are saying their skin is glowing. They're glowing. They're glowing. And they all use the same words. They're all talking about that they're glowing. And I said to Scott, I'm going to start using that word. I'm glowing. I said, I love that word that they're using. It's so beautiful. And they are. You see them and they're just like, literally their skin is just bright and light and just exuding that countenance, like I said. So thank you. I'm so happy you're part of our team. And I always say personal trainers are changing the planet right now. Most trainers and nutrition and lifestyle fitness coaches currently are the ones that are educating a lot of medical doctors, because the medical doctors many times have just been trained in medicine. That's it, right? Matchy game with the medicine. So now we have this amazing demographic of people that have been in health and healing because we love people, not for the love of money, but for the love of people. And I feel like this is kind of our magic hour where we can have both. We can help people to the best of our abilities and also create that generational wealth. So it is for you. It is for everybody. So Let me know how I can help you. Because I feel like, trainers know other trainers, right? Trainers know other chiropractors, other massage therapists. They're in that wellness kind of web, right? So if there's anything I can do to assist, let me know. I'd love that. All right. Who's next? Craig is up on there. I'm looking at Craig. Craig, what are you doing to meet new contacts? Maybe Craig is oh, there he is. Hey, Craig.
No, I'm here. Sorry, man, I'm just having something to eat at the same time because I'm starving.
Good. Do it.
Yes, I have been talking to family and friends, and a lot of my closer friends on Facebook. I've been sending out everything to them and getting them interested in it. Yeah, they have a lot of questions and things, so it looks like I might still be setting up a meeting with Liesl one evening. So
Wonderful.
have a meeting. It looks good.
Okay, let's do it. I mean, yeah, Liesel's there and she can help you out. If there's anything I can do, let me know. But I mean, that's the thing, point of contact. You got to keep following up with people, not because you say, hey, I'm following up with you, but say, hey, I'm so excited for you to get started on this technology. I know how it can change your life. Have you had a chance to view the information I've sent you? What was your favorite part of the video that I sent? Right? Those are questions that you ask to kind of get people engaged, right?
Okay.
Great. I love it, Craig. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Who's next?
Thanks a lot.
Oliver Kobus. Let's say Kobus. Am I saying that right? Kobus? I'm so sorry. I need to get myself familiarized.
Kobus. Oh, Kobus is on the call. He's probably busy and just listening in.
No problem. We're glad you're here. How about Bev? Bev, can you unmute yourself? All right. When she's ready, Bev, when you're ready, unmute yourself. We want to hear from you what you're doing to gain new contacts, because you know what? There's power in hearing the stories of what others are doing, right? It gives you guys ideas and inspiration to say, you know what, I'm going to go try that, right? I'm going to go do that differently. In fact, I told somebody, my friend Sherry, she's going to this Pilates class, and she said, I was thinking about buying a long membership for a year. I said, well, if you love Pilates, do that. But if I were you, I would go 1 month memberships at different facilities around that metropolitan area that you're in. Like that would be me again, because again, if you're just around those same group of people for the next year, your business is going to get a little stale. When you're continuing to do different classes, now you joined the walking class, Alondra, maybe next month it's the pickleball 101 that you join, do different things to get you, maybe it's the bird watching, you know what I mean? Maybe it's the dog walking next month where you can teach them to patch their dogs, because people spend a lot of money on their pets, right? So for me, it's like you always have to be thinking, how can I grow? What can I do differently? So something that's really, really incredible is David Schmidt has a brand new clinical study coming out. He's got 6 studies he's working on right now for all the analytical ones on your team. And I love clinical evidence. I always say, you know what, we don't need to be super innovative in the field. We just need to duplicate, right, and multiply. That's all we need to do. But David is the innovator. Okay, we duplicate, he innovates. He's the innovator. Let's leave it up to David to innovate. And so he's doing this 6 clinical studies that will be launched at the end of the year. He's using X39 and X49. Oliver, you're going to love this. X39, 49. And then he also did a study with X39, 49 and the water technology. And what he found is, let me tell you this, they looked at anabolic steroids, which people generally take steroids not just so they're big and muscly, but they take steroids so they can recover faster, right? It's all about how fast can we recover to get back in the gym to hit it again, right? And so he did this study with X39 and 49, and the muscle recovery with the combination of those 2 patches was equivalent to steroids, the muscle recovery component of it. I mean, how crazy is this, you guys? Then he actually brought in the water in addition to the X39 and 49, and it was just like the whole study, he said, is just unbelievable. When people see it, it's going to be phenomenal. So what I want to say is, like, he's working on all the science. He's working on all the innovation to keep making our products and the clinical evidence greater and greater. Our job is just to get out and share it, right? And so last night I did a big training with the team, and something that's really been in my spirit a lot, because many of you, if you've been here for Lifeway for a while, you know the miracles are real. If you know the miracles are real, I want you to type yes in the chat, okay? Or raise your hand if you know the miracles are real. If you know this patch works, like you're not second guessing this thing, like you're not in the contemplative stages, like saying, well, I'm not sure if I've decided if this thing works or not yet. You know, if you're not there, if you're beyond that now and you're saying, no, this works. I've seen enough to realize, I've seen enough testimonies and heard enough stories to know that this thing works, then raise your hand. I mean, how about my friend Ann, who lives in northern Minnesota, and she said, Renita, my doctor was amazed because my cholesterol dropped 50 points, 50 points, the blood pressure dropped, our cholesterol dropped. So the bottom line is, I mean, we see this stuff again and again. The longer people wear it, the healthier they get. And Linda, the better they look, which is why, you know, look at Linda. I mean, her skin looks like it's, you know, a baby. Like, what's going on over there? So the bottom line is if you want to look younger and feel younger longer, then you wear the patch, right? So we're all in agreement. Or is anybody not convinced that the patch works yet here today? If you say, I don't know if it works, I'm brand new, I haven't seen enough, then put me in the chat so I know it's you. Okay, I want to help you out. Okay, so the bottom line is last night. So you guys have known I've been on this journey with the power of the subconscious mind, right? Is everybody with me on that? The power of the subconscious mind. Have any of you read that book? I mean, I've talked about it over and over and over, right? The power of the subconscious mind. And I'm going to get a little bit more into sales just for the next 9 minutes here until we're completed. But the power of the subconscious mind is that everybody really makes their decisions, their buying decisions, their health decisions, their day in and day out decisions from their subconscious mind. The subconscious is generally, it's just repeated patterns of beliefs, okay? So from 0 to 10 years old, that's when generally that is formed. Although on the journey, how many of you know we can change the subconscious mind? Through repeated repetition, through high emotion, through different things, we can change our subconscious mind. So if you've been always, you know, unhealthy, how many of you know that you can be healthy? I mean, look at Alondra, what she did to reverse her. I showed your picture this weekend. People could not believe the before and after Alondra. We saw a guy in 2 days wear X39 and SP6, and he was on the medications because he had been on them for a week because they scared him so bad. And I said, you just took your medication, and 45 minutes later, your blood sugar's 212. I said, the medications don't work. I said, it's a botch job. He had his continuous blood glucose monitor on. Long story short, we started getting him to do a little fasting, 16 to 18 hours a day. I said, put your SP6 on the left side of your body, put X39, 49. The next day he came back, he said, wow, no medication. My blood sugar's 124. You know, I mean, it was just like, he's like, what? The medication was like keeping everything high. And then he found out when he pricked his finger, that little blood glucose monitor that was attached to his arm was up 20 to 40 points higher. I was like, oh my gosh, if this is not a botch job, right? Long story short, yesterday morning he texted me. He said, I woke up this morning, my blood sugar is 108. I mean, this is unbelievable what's going on, right? We know the patch technology works. We know, I said, they just scared you to get you on those drugs and to keep you taking them. And unfortunately, they're not looking at your finger prick that you're doing. They're looking at that continuous blood glucose monitor. When you go in, they pull that up. Your doctor does and says, well, here's your numbers. Well, those suckers are 40 points higher than they should be because it's lying. It's inaccurate is what I'm saying. You guys getting me on this? Alondra, did you listen to my whole talk on this? This is crazy what I discovered. And then when I posted on Facebook, other people are saying the same thing. I'm like, oh, I think this is a marketing scheme now. You know what I mean? I'm at the point where I'm like, what is going on with the medical community? Anyway, point being, I've realized that the whole spirit of fear has permeated the sales industry and the medical industry. Would you guys agree on that one? Can we agree that there's a whole lot of fear involved, from the vaccine industry to the pill industry to all these industries? They are trying to scare you into making a decision. Yes? Okay. And again, it's kind of like they're convincing, not empowering. Remember what we started this conversation with? And not only are they convincing, they're white knuckling you, shaming you, sometimes guilting you, high pressuring you with scare tactics if you don't do these things. Would you guys agree? So it's the opposite of empowerment and joy and love and health. It's like the opposite. It's like the dark side. It's like, welcome to the dark side, guys, right? Are you with me on this? Are you saying this? And I said last night, so I've been talking about hypnotizing. A year ago, I grabbed hold of this concept. Maybe you guys have heard me talk about this. My mom, who was diagnosed with Parkinson's, I said, you go to have you guys ever been to a hypnotist before? Raise your hands if you've been to a hypnotist. I mean, they could take a person who's hypnotized and give them an onion, and they tell them it's an apple, and they sit and they eat the onion like it's an apple. It's the craziest thing you've ever seen. Have you seen this? I've seen this in person. Then they tell somebody they're cold, and then they're stealing the clothes off the friend next to them to cover themselves up, and it's like normal temperature, right? So this hypnotism thing is like, and how about even know they hypnotize people for weight loss? So for a long time, for a year, I've been saying, I said to my husband, to Scott, there's got to be a way that we can just hypnotize people to be healthy. I've been a fly on my wall in my house in the last year. I say there's got to be a way we can hypnotize people to be wealthy, to be healthy, to change the frequency of what they're thinking. There's got to be a way we can hypnotize it. And by the way, I'm Christian. I love the Lord Jesus. My Savior's Jesus Christ. And I believe that we're being hypnotized by the mainstream media, right? So sometimes I say, well, I don't talk that word hypnotism because I'm Christian. I do, because the world has hypnotized us with the mainstream media. When I drive into my city, I live slightly out of town, there's a billboard that says, you're feeling sick today. Call your doctor right away. That's what the stupid sign says. It's a billboard, right? It's like on a Megatron. You're feeling sick today. They have someone wiping their nose with a napkin. Call your doctor. I'm like, this is sick. Like, they literally are hypnotizing sickness. And I believe blessings, the power of life and death is in the tongue. Would you guys believe that? What we say out loud matters. If you always tell yourself you're sick, you're getting sicker. What happens when you start changing the frequency of your voice? It changes your life. So I've been on this tangent for a year, discovering, I actually called hypnotists, you guys. I called hypnotists to say, can you hypnotize my mother to tell her that she walks perfectly, right? And then what happened was she moved out of my house. She moved into this independent living home with a bunch of old people that all live independently, but they sit around and talk about how sick they are at mealtime. You guys know this? These old people, they get together and they talk about what drugs they're on, when their next doctor's appointments are. Are you guys with me? Is everybody tracking with me? Okay. Did I tell you about a month ago, I walked downstairs and there was this old group of women next to the fireplace, and they were all talking about when people fall, it's all downhill from there. And as soon as their husband fell, he died a month later. As soon as their sister-in-law fell, blah, blah, blah. They're all talking about falling. And I came into the group like a wrecking ball. And I said, my mom was diagnosed with Parkinson's 9 years ago, and she's never fallen once, not a single time. She doesn't fall. And I said, you know why she doesn't fall? I said, because I tell her, you are strong. You are a mighty tower. When I kiss her on the forehead as I leave, I said, I envision a white light of angels all the way around her body, protecting her. And then I look at her little 4-pound dog, Bella, little Maltese, who's just a fury. And I imagine that white light around Bella too, so she stays protected. And I am saying this to these elderly women. And instead of them saying, wow, that's amazing that you pray over your mom like that, they just looked at me like a deer in headlights. I said to Scott, my husband, I would have fit better in the conversation if I said, oh yeah, we're just waiting for the fall. Right? They'd have been like, yeah, and instead I come in there like a wrecking ball. I've got an Avenger spirit on me. Do you have an Avenger spirit on you? I am here to set people free. And so I literally came in there and I'm like, yeah, we've never had that. We won't have that, because this is what I visualize. And this is what I have my mom visualize. And they're looking at me like I'm talking Greek or something, right? Are you guys with me? So the world, it's much easier to stay on that low negative frequency than it is to take the high road. Do you guys understand this? And in fact, when you take the high road, you're kind of an anomaly, People say things like, wow, she talks fast. Wow, you've got a lot of energy. What is she on? Right? I get asked that all the time, right? What are you on? Well, the patch, you know? So the bottom line but it's not the norm to be joyful and to be like upward thinking and to level up and to rise up and to aim up with our lives and our finances and our health. It's simply not normal. The world has kind of suppressed us, right? And weakened us slightly until you pull out of that norm of the world. And I attach to the higher realm. And then I always say I'm attaching to that heavenly realm. The reason I'm telling you this is about whatever on AI, on your phones, whatever on your devices you're looking up, how many of you know you just get more of it, right? If you're looking at things if you're looking up how sick you are, now they got 10 ads coming in about that same sickness. And you think you're, going to die, right? So whatever you do, don't Google it, right? Don't Google your sickness. And how many of you know when you start looking at the good stuff, you start getting more good stuff? How many of you know that? This is AI. This is how AI works. Okay. Are you guys with me? So what happened to me about 3 weeks ago, all of a sudden there's this gentleman. His name is Russell Brunson. Have any of you heard of him? Russell Brunson? He's world renowned. Like he helps Tony Robbins to sell, Grant Cardone, Gary Brecka, like some of these big elevated people, right? And this, he has a Guinness Book of World Records for the most sales completed in one day. The most sales in one day of anything. So what I realized is I need everybody to become better at selling. I call it sharing, right? I call Lifeway what I do. I don't consider myself some expert salesperson. I'm really excellent at sharing and helping people to build their belief until they eventually join or hit the buy button. Okay. I never lower my frequency to them ever. I'm not going to do it. Right. Remember that old saying, misery loves company? Don't get around the misery too long because you'll be right there with them. So if people don't want to change their frequency and up level their lives, I'll hug them and patch them and I'll be on my way. Right. Because I don't have time for that because there's so many people that are seeking. They're not complaining that it's too expensive. They're not complaining about those things. Right. If that was the truth, then no one in South Africa would be on the move. And we're going to, a friend of mine is going to go over and do an event with 500 to 600 people in 2 months. Okay. So we know that there's some people saying yes to this. You see what I'm saying? Anyway, three weeks ago, I grabbed hold of this guy. His name is Russell Brunson. Russell Brunson is amazing at sales. And he said, how many of you know that we are selling to the subconscious mind? And I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I've been talking about for a year with our team, Scott. He says, all of good, amazing salespeople sell to the subconscious mind. And I was like, wow, I got to go listen to what this guy's saying. So suddenly I find myself, and I'm just going to pull it up. Oh, I can't screen share, I guess, because am I the host? Can I screen share? I'm just going to screen share one thing and then I'm going to let you guys go on your way.
You should be able to, Renita.
Okay. I'm going to show it to you guys real quick and then you can go there because I can't play it anyway for you because I don't have access to the sound, but I'm going to show you where to find it so you guys can do it. And listen, this has completely changed my life. Okay. And last night I taught it to our team and I also taught it to the team about a week and a half ago. Now, what I want to tell you just a couple outcomes that have happened really quickly. Hang on, let me grab it up here. Hypnosis. So what has happened is the first person I taught it to was my friend down in Arizona when I grabbed hold of it. When I grabbed hold of the concept, I taught it to my friend in Arizona. She's been going into 55 plus communities. I don't know if you guys have those in your countries, but she's been going into those communities here in the United States, and she's doing what I'm about to show you. And she texted me yesterday. She goes, I left another 55 plus community, just signed up 6 people with the advanced pack. She's doing this again and again. Her name is Amanda Wallstrom on my team. She's about 45. Okay. She's going into these communities. And what she's learning is this. I'm going to show it to you. This is Russell Brunson. So maybe you recognize him when you see him now. He's got a whole lot of sales stuff. And this thing right here that says, can you, hang on a second, get rid of this thing. How do I get rid of this? Let me just hit the play button just for a second. Sorry, I got to just play that for a second. And then hit skip button. Okay, this one right here. So and the whole thing is not about money. He's basically saying, can you hypnotize people to buy your product more? That's basically the gist of this whole 19-minute, 45-second video, you guys. So last night I watched this with the team on our business training, and there's 8 steps to basically, he calls it hypnosis, but I'm going to tell you it's not really hypnosis. He talks about this book right here. Can you guys see it? I want to show you this, and I'll post this in your WhatsApp group. I'll post this Russell Brunson thing, and then I'll also post my meeting from last night, because I went out and bought the book. And what else I'm going to do that Russell Brunson does? He straps this book around his waist. I decided when I do presentations from now on, I'm going to get that colorful strap. It looks like a guitar strap that he's using. I think that's what it is. And then he just puts a big fat bookmark in there. And I'm going to walk around with this guitar strapped to my side at presentations. I'm going to do it. Do you know why? Because people are going to be like, why is she carrying around that book? Because it's that powerful. That's why, right? So I'm going to do that. But what he explains is the 8 ways you're hypnotizing people. Now, I'm going to sum it up in a nutshell. What I've realized is I've been hypnotizing people for 20 years being a fitness instructor. I tell people things like, you are strong, you are powerful, you have what it takes, say it out loud, I can do 10 more. I've been teaching this for 25 years, guys. I always tell my fitness classes, your mind quits before your body does. Your body never gives up before your mind. Your mind has to say, I'm tired, I quit. Your body quits, right? And so I've been hypnotizing people. I'm not called a hypnotist, you know what I mean? And then he talks about in this book, you guys know there was a doctor in the late 1800s that was over in Europe, and people came from around the world to this doctor. He was a medical doctor, and everybody who came to him got healed. They came in sick with diseases, they left healed. His name was Dr. Mesmer. Dr. Mesmer. And Dr. Mesmer had all these people from all over the world. They said this guy was the greatest healer of all time, and he was literally giving people hypnotic suggestions. Eventually, it became known as mesmerizing. Have you heard of that word? Mesmerizing? Dr. Mesmer was the medical doctor who would teach people how to rewire their brain. Isn't this amazing? So the whole thing they talk about was all these doctors that have been using this form of healing. So for the year that I've been saying to my husband, Scott, there's got to be a way we can hypnotize people for health. Guess what? There is. And just because I was on AI and Googling these things and researching it, God brought it forth for me. So last night, I went through the 8 ways through that 19-minute video I just showed you, and I broke down way 1, way 2, way 3, all the way down to way 8, and how we're going to use that when we talk to people about LifeWave to not necessarily hypnotize them and put them in a trance, but to become more effective at people buying our product. Would you guys agree we want more and more people to wear the patch? Raise your hand if you think that's a good idea. Or maybe you wanted to buy some other, crazy product that doesn't work with some really, slick salesperson. I don't want that. I want them to buy from Melandra. I know the results she's had. She should be a multimillionaire by this point. But she's not yet, but she's in the process because she's learning these techniques now. So my goal is for you guys to make as much money as possible, not because I care so much deeply about money. Remember, I gave most of my services away for free for 25 years. I'm still giving workouts away for free. Now it's just easier when you have money, right? But the bottom line is the reason that we are wanting to do this is we want more people on the patch. We want less people saying, I'm going to get back to you and not getting on the patch. Would you guys agree? We want everybody getting on this patch technology. We know it will transform their health. I mean, like I said, the miracles from the top to the bottom of the country are unbelievable. I just went on tour, so I got a big fat fire hose in the last 7 days of miracles. So I'm on fire right now, okay? So what he says in the book, though, and what he says on the video is that you use these. And I said to Scott, holy Moses, I've been using these for 25 years. Because like the first one is the power of suggestion. I tell people when you get on the Zoom, it's going to be the most powerful Zoom of your life. So when I do this week's Thursday meeting for you guys, I'm going to use the 8 techniques that your guys are going to learn today when you go watch the video. I'm going to use those 8 techniques on the Thursday meeting. So it would be to your advantage to get all of your guests on. I would go out this week and I'd say my goal is to get 10 new people on that Zoom meeting on Thursday with Renita because it's going to be so powerful. It's going to change their life. It's going to change their finances. It's going to up level their thinking. It's going to upgrade their thinking, right? Because I'm going to use the techniques in this book, because now I'm really tightening it down, because I realized now I'm probably using at least 5 of these on a continual basis. And I never called it hypnotizing. Like, I didn't think I was hypnotizing people, right? I call it speaking life over people, right? I mean, that's just what I've done my whole life in my field, right? Calling out the greatness in people. How many want to call out the giants and pull out the gold in your friends? Come on, right? So this is what it's all about. Are you guys with me on this? So I've realized the Lord gave me a vision at the beginning of the year that we're going to have 100 SPDs on our team. 100 SPDs on our team. Now, the question I'm going to ask you is, are you going to be one of them? Are you going to be one of them? Because, and if you say, you know what you're saying resonates with me, I got to upgrade my life. I got to upgrade my thinking. I got to get it, because I'm doing a lot, but it's not exactly creating the result I'm looking for yet. And I said to Scott, what if it's these 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 things that people can just do, that every time they talk to somebody, they're getting them on the patch. They're getting them on the patch. They're getting them on the patch. Are you guys with me? Right? Because we know there's power in numbers. We know there's power in stories here, right? Of these people's miracle testimonies. So are you guys willing to watch the 19-minute video? And again, if you don't like the word hypnosis, if you're a Christian, I'm a Christian. So last night I had 100 people on my Zoom meeting and I had a lot of Christians. Hypnosis makes them uneasy. And then I tell them, well, what do you think the mainstream media has been doing for 50 years with us? And it hasn't been hypnotizing us for good. You know, in North America, you should see it's big ag, big food, processed chemicals, Coca-Cola, sugar, drugs, and more drugs. I mean, these are our ad dollars. So they've literally hypnotized people on the dark side. We're just pulling them back into the light, right? With the patch and with how we're speaking over people. Okay, so are you guys with me on this? This video, I'm going to put my video last night that I did. You can watch it. And again, I break down the different examples. And by the way, when you watch the recording of any of the things that I post from my Zoom link, read the comments. Because last night I was having these 100 people tell me what that looks like. How could you word it? If you want 100, 200, 300 ideas about how to start talking like this to be more effective at people getting on the patch always, then you should go watch what I did last night and just even read the comments. Because the comments everybody put on there, I said, give me an example in the comments. And they all put the examples in the comments. So there's hundreds of ideas of you guys to fine tune the way you're talking to people. Okay, are you guys with me on this? All right, that's it. That's all I've got for you. But I just know Thursday is going to be powerful. So if you can get 10 new guests, shoot for 10, maybe 6 will show up. The bottom line is everybody you get, say, listen, we're going to have the most powerful meeting. And they're not going to know I'm doing this. I'm not going to say, hey, I've been studying the Unlimited Selling Power book, and I'm going to apply a couple principles here. They're not going to know I'm doing this. The goal is to be so authentic, right, guys? The goal is to be so authentic that you're just doing it naturally. And you'll find that when I give you the examples, you'll say, well, Renita, I'm already doing that. So a lot of this stuff we're already doing, we're just fine tuning it. And then what happens is, like Amanda Wallstrom, the last 2 texts I've got from her, she says, was that a 55 plus community? Signed up 5. Was that a 65 plus community? 55 plus community, signed up 6 yesterday. She said, I literally put the patch on them, have them shut their eyes and visualize themselves. What's it going to look like 1 month from now? And 3 months from now, when you're back on that golf course and you are swinging, and wow, that is straight down the fairway there. And your back doesn't hurt, your knees don't ache, you are on fire. She has all these people shutting their eyes and visualizing best case scenarios with their bodies. What I've taught you guys to do with the power of the subconscious mind at night when you go to sleep, she has them doing it sitting in their chair. They all get up and hand her the sign-up sheet. I'm telling you, this works, what I'm talking about. Okay? Oliver, what do you think about this?
Am I on unmute yet?
No, you're there. I can hear you. What?
Okay, as long as you can hear me. Okay, awesome.
hear.
Yeah, so for me, I think it's fantastic. You know, I really do. I personally am also moving my entire environment because I realize that you become the 5 people you spend the most time with. And that's the other thing that I realized is just like you have to surround yourself with positive people. So everything you've been saying is so true. You know, being around people that are higher energy, that are speaking positive, that are speaking life. And you know, you do such a great job at that. So yeah, one of the biggest ways or fastest ways to build your business, I always say, is like while you learning and upskilling yourself, leverage the knowledge of your sponsors. You know, leverage the presentation, leverage the tools that the team has in place to be able to build your business. If you can get a bunch of people on a call like that, you know, you're gonna have new people join your team. And edifying somebody else is always easier than edifying yourself. And I remember when I first joined my previous network marketing company, all I did in the first 30 days is like put as many people on three-way calls as I could with my sponsor and get as many people as I could into events and as many people as I could on webinars. And that's all I did. I stayed like emotionally divorced from like what they said, and I married the process of just speaking to as many people as I could. And the moment I spoke to someone that I felt had a good energy, I'd be like, you'd love this. Are you available on Thursday? Can I send you the details? And then I'll follow up with you on Friday morning. How does that sound? You know, GoPro 101. So it's very simple. I think Renita, somebody said it once, what's easy to do is easy not to do. And it's about like just like doing those things every single day.
Oliver,
And we've all been
I'm just
guilty of
telling
that.
you, wow, have you evolved since the time I've been on the last meeting with you. Even if you're on the toilet crapping your guts out right now because of the flu, you are sharp. Like you are a great leader, Oliver. And what you're saying is so, so true. And I'm telling you this right now, you guys follow Oliver's lead. He's up leveling his life. It's happening as we speak, all of you. You know what I mean? The bottom line is we all can go move in that direction. The willingness to do so. That's it, Oliver, right? At a certain point, you had to say, enough is enough. Like you said, I've got to get around different people. I've got to change. I remember when you texted me and said, I'm getting back into tennis. I'm getting back into it. That was a game changer and an energy enhancer for you, right? And so that was a major, you're a major player in that tennis realm. And when you removed yourself from that, it's like your frequency went down, right? You're getting back in there and it's like, boom, you're getting lit up again, right? That competitive spirit comes back, that new energy of fresh faces, fresh people. And like you said, just being around new people saying, do you know how many times in a day I say to someone, you are so awesome. You would be so great at what I do. You'd be so great in my business. And they'd say, well, what is your business? Because people love to be complimented, right? I've taught this to my boys. Listen, you start complimenting, it opens the gateway for people wanting to listen to you. Right, guys? So if compliments don't come naturally, make that a habit. And when you first start a habit, it doesn't feel natural. Day 1, day 2, day 3, you're kind of feeling like a weirdo when you're complimenting people, right? But by 10, you're like, you know what? This is getting normal. And I see the response it's getting, and people are acting different in my presence, right? Oliver, you are going to rock this thing. And you sound bold and powerful and amazing. And you are leading your team. You are leading this team to the top. I know this about you. Somebody sent me a video of you from about, I don't know if it was 3 years ago, 5 years ago. And I was like, this is Oliver. And you're going to take that video times 1,000 in this business. That's what I know. That's where you're at right now. You're amazing.
Thank you.
No, it's happening. It's happening. I would never know you have the flu. You really don't. It's already passed by. That was just a occurrence, right? You sound strong. You sound bold. You sound powerful. And so it's all about just taking the high road and aiming up with our thoughts. Okay, guys? And so, okay, I'll post the video. I'll post both videos in WhatsApp. I'll post the one from last night where I give the real life examples of how that looks in the LifeWave business. And then I'll post the second video, which is just the 19-minute of Russell Brunson doing it. So if you just want to listen to that one, but he doesn't use the verbiage pertaining to LifeWave. So if you want the exact LifeWave verbiage, watch the Zoom meeting from last night and read the comments, hundreds and hundreds of comments that you guys can just steal that stuff from people last night that said, this is what I'm going to say. Here's how I'm going to word it. Right. So it's like brand new scripts for all of you. Okay. And a script never feels comfortable the first time. Even if you guys, I say, hey, take out a sheet of paper and write down 3 sentences of what you're going to tell me in the elevator when you run into me. The first time you read it, it feels weird. And you wrote it. It's a script, right? Second time still feels a little weird. Third time weird. But by the 10th time you're repeating it, Now you've got that internal flow going, right? It becomes much and more natural the more you say it. Okay. And that's how you become effective. All right, guys. All right. I'm way over my time. May the Lord bless you, keep you and shine his face upon you, and be gracious to all of you. You are all upgrading your life, upgrading your businesses. I'm telling you what, not just in South Africa, all around the world. Start claiming it. Put your hands out. I put my hands out and I say, global, baby. Come on, God, pour it out. I'm willing to do the work. And when you're faithful with a little, God gives you more. So you just keep being faithful with those that God is putting you in front of.
Amen, my sister.
God bless you guys. Have a great night.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Renita.
Thank you, Renita.
Visualize yourself winning. Come on, visualize yourself winning. That's good. That's good stuff.
Yeah.